Alright, what's going on everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So tonight we're going over the final card release of the Daken season, and that is Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai is a Series 5 release that is 4 cost and 5 power that reads, on reveal, each player discards the lowest power card from their hand. This card looks like it could be a powerful addition to discard decks as well as the Stature Black Bolt kind of archetype. So let's get into it, talk about the card a bit, if it's worth picking up, and look at some really cool day one decks. Before we dive on into that though, highly recommend checking out the article by Den, link in the description below, if you want more information on any of our decks, the thoughts behind them, or just want to grab them to import into game. So looking at Silver Samurai and the Spotlight caches available for this week, it is a Series 5 card. Generally, I think if you have the caches saved up, caches are the way to go for getting Series 5 cards, as 6k tokens is a whole lot of tokens with the reduced token acquisition rate that we have after the Spotlight update. Other cards available this week are including Kitty Pryde and Spider-Man 2099. Now, a lot of players got Kitty Pryde for free due to the bugs surrounding her release and the fact that she was removed from the game until she was reworked and fixed. However, I think there are still a lot of players out there who maybe weren't playing at the time of release, or maybe they took a break from the game and they just didn't end up getting Kitty Pryde. So if you're one of those players, I think this is probably a pretty appealing Spotlight week to go for, as Kitty Pryde is one of the best 1-drops in the game, and Silver Samurai looks strong as well. Then we have Spider-Man 2099. This card's been pretty underwhelming, unfortunately. It would not surprise me if he got a buff sometime in the future. However, I don't think he's going to be a card many people are going for in this Spotlight cache. We also have the variants here, but that's always going to be fairly subjective. I personally really like the ones for Silver Samurai and Kitty Pryde this week, but I think in general, people should probably be using their caches to go after new cards rather than chase the cosmetics. That'll vary person to person though. Obviously, you should just do whatever you think is going to be the most fun for you though, as it is a game after all, and that's kind of the point. But yeah, I think Silver Samurai definitely has a lot of potential for Zabu decks, for discard decks, and maybe he even makes last card's release X23 a bit more impactful than it's been so far. So starting out, we're going to go over some Zabu-based decks here that have Stature. Stature has been kind of the main reason we've been seeing opposing discard decks make sense recently. Black Bolt has typically been the card we've used to do that, as the randomness and symmetrical effect from Moon Knight often has more downside than upside for these style of decks. But with the addition of Silver Samurai, perhaps it's possible to just drop Black Bolt entirely in favor of this new and powerful card. Dropping Black Bolt also enables us to run Wave again, since previously our turn 5 would often require playing Black Bolt, but now if we get Samurai down on turn 3 or turn 4, we can play our Stature alongside Wave on turn 5 to lock out the opponent with only one card to be played, and close with a big finisher such as Magneto or Darkhawk or even America Chavez. We have the Darkhawk package here with Rockslide, Darkhawk, and Korg, always good in a Zabu style deck, and Daken getting some value here as well, giving us a potentially nice target for our Samurai to discard on curve. Iron Lad can copy some of our powerful effects such as Darkhawk, our Rock Generators, Silver Samurai, even Jeff or Zabu can be good as well. Maybe it even hits Wave and allows us to ramp out another big card early on in the game, or a chance at locking the opponent into one card going into turn 6. Chavez is here for consistency. Zabu decks really value getting Zabu on curve, so anything that helps that is going to be good here. And Magneto is going to be our primary finisher, who is also really good in the mirror versus other Darkhawk decks as he moves all their 4-drops and 3-drops around the board to hopefully swing at least 2 lanes in your favor. Another direction you can go with this Zabu style of deck is one that involves a bit more of a ramp package instead of the Darkhawk package. In this case, we're still including Wave, but now we have a bit more high value targets to hit, such as Doctor Doom and Odin. Iron Lad makes an addition to this deck, as being able to hit Doom off of Lad has always been really powerful, and there are just some other generally good includes in here that are good for Lad as well, such as our Silver Samurai, Captain Marvel, Colleen, etc. X23 is pretty neat in this list, as it gives us an additional piece of ramp that is one-sided, unlike Wave, so it allows us to potentially cheat out one of our 6-drops earlier on in the game. And Daken here just giving us a little bit more fuel for stuff to discard with our Colleen or Samurai. If you want to go for a little bit more of a traditional looking discard list, this one's got you covered. We're still trying to do the MODOK Apocalypse Dracula shenanigans, however, we're adding in Silver Samurai to the mix, and Absorbing Man for a bit more consistency in getting our discard effects from either Samurai, Colleen, or Gambit. Dakin perhaps shines the best in these MODOK style decks, as you don't really have to commit as many resources to discard his shard. You want to discard your hand anyway with MODOK, so getting him down on turn 3 and eventually discarding it, turning him into a 3/8 ends up being pretty good, as that's naturally what we want to do anyway to reduce our hand size to guarantee our Dracula hits big. One thing you might have to watch out for though is Dracula is a 0 power card, so if you're going up against a Zabu version of Samurai, you have to be aware that it's possible he's going to get discarded on turn 3 with an opponent's Samurai, but given that this is a new Series 5 release, it remains to be seen how popular Samurai really is on release. Then we have a tempo-focused discard list. The idea with this one is we're going to try and make a fairly big collector by generating more cards with our swarms, while also ripping cards from the opponent's hand with Samurai, Black Bolt, and Absorbing Man. Nebula can get really out of control here if the opponent doesn't respect it, and if they do start committing a lot of resources to prevent Nebula from being pumped up, then they're going to have less cards in hand, which makes our discard effects even more impactful. Wong allows us to be even more backbreaking, as not only is it going to help us generate more swarms, but it's going to take even more cards away from the opponent, limiting the potential lines they have access to. And then Dakin has some nice synergy with the collector here as well, as he's generating a card to pump the collector and giving us more fuel for our discard fodder outside of Wolverine and Swarm. And last but not least, we have a Hela Lockjaw list. So the idea with this one is we're going to hopefully be discarding some swarms here, generating more of them to toss away into the Lockjaw. We don't overly care about the fact that we're discarding stuff from our hand, as we want to discard a bunch of stuff from our hand in order to make Hela big and impactful on the final turn of the game. But even if you don't get Hela all the time, or if she comes out a bit too early, you can still at least get some value off the card generally, and you can cheat out other big things with Lockjaw, so you're not only locked into one way of cheating big stuff into play. Jubilee acts as a pseudo ramp piece and is very clutch in those games where we don't get access to our Lockjaw. Moon Knight feeds our Hela while also ripping resources away from the opponent's hand. Dracula helps make use of the big cards we have that are stuck in hand sometimes, or just the Chavez we top deck on turn 6. And Samurai gives us that much needed consistency in having another outlet for discarding our Swarm to hopefully have more food for the Lockjaw, or just more 3-power bodies to spam at the end of the game for free. And the big threats we're cheating out with this one are Magneto, Giganto, and Infinite, also Chavez as well. Just a really nice group of powerful 6-drops that put a ton of power on the board and can be particularly hard to answer if they're coming back with Hela on the final turn of the game, as not even we know where they're going to end up being played. And there we have it. That is going to wrap up our day 1 decks for Silver Samurai. As always, highly recommend checking out the article from Den, link in the description below if you want any more information on these decks or you just want to import them to play in-game yourself. But yeah, I'm really excited for this card. I hope you are too. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Are you picking it up? Are you passing? I'd love to know what you think and why. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and stay tuned here at Marvel Snap Zone for all your Marvel Snap content. I'm Zombies, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.